Welcome to Once Upon a Weird. Thank you for coming back and listening to us. We are here with episode 2. Today's theme, before we get too far into it and lose track of
of why we're
what
here.
we're doing, right? With why we're here and what we're all interested in listening to. Our themes today are to get to know us as hosts a little bit better. Excuse me. That was gross. My apologies. Anyway, to get to know us as hosts, so we picked a weird, I know me personally, I went with ghost stories because one of the places I lived is like super Wild West. Like, we'll get into it here in a little bit, but I think there's nothing but ghost stories in the Wild West. But yeah, so we just picked a fun story that interested us, whether we've heard it before somewhere else or not. We're here to give a little insight into some of the places we've lived before. So,
Yeah, I
how
was
are you
just
guys
telling them.
doing?
I was just telling you guys both that I'm good. I had this written for like a week and I was thrilled with it. And then today I was like, nope, and completely changed it. So um mine is gonna be a fun one.
I'm excited. I'm excited to hear it.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to have like just a chat real quick. I wanted to tell you guys about a couple books that I've read that I wanted to recommend. And then yeah.
I'm out 1 second. I would like to update. I know in the last episode, if you guys have listened to episode 1, if not, perfect. This won't be a correction for you guys. Our email is
No.
actually once upon a weird pod. Nope.
No.
I'm so sorry. Was it once upon? Sorry, we had to go through quite a few iterations to find out which ones were not taken. So please bear with us. I sometimes can't keep straight which ones we actually landed with. So
Yeah.
it's
So once upon a weird 25 at gmail.com.
there we go. Once upon a weird 25 at gmail.com. All right.
Yeah,
So
because
that's
I'm
our
the
one little
idiot that spelt weird wrong the first time I signed us up, so it didn't work.
dyslexia
Yeah.
is strong with us all. So it's okay. We just wanted to
Well,
let you
I
guys know
before
in
E.
case, right? In case you guys had reached out to us, with our requests from last time with your weird stories. If you don't mind being so kind, resending those to our
Please.
actually, please
Sorry.
and thank you. um, I will make sure to add the correct email into the show notes. And it should be in our link on Spotify because that's one of the places if that you could be listening to us on. So if you're on Spotify, our email will be listed and you can find our account there and contact us on there. So anyway,
So
yes.
yeah, so I'll tell you about those two books, but just it made me think of it because you said Spotify. I work with Shopify every single day, and I talk about Shopify every single day. And the amount of times that I say Spotify instead of Shopify, and every single person I've done that to, and I just kind of stop and I'm like, yeah, I meant Shopify. They laugh and they're like, they sound so similar. I'm like, I know, it's really annoying, but anyways, no, so I'll tell you about the books. And then today Love died because Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban are getting divorced.
Why?
I don't know. They've been married for 19 years.
I thought they split up a long time ago.
Did they? No, I don't think so.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm crazy. Anyways, okay. The
I'm
two books,
Googling it.
yeah, please do. The two books that I recommend uh is a little less Maddie. I listened to it on Audible, and the protagonist in the book has bipolar disorder, and it is a trip. Like, it's a cool perspective. So I highly recommend that. And then the other one is by V.E. Schwab. They also wrote The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, but this one is We Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. Not done with it yet, but I highly recommend it already. So that's my housekeeping for my life right now.
Hell yeah. I don't have much going on. Going back to school in the spring.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. I'll be going for project management because, in our real lives, we need real jobs. And both my kids will be going to school all day by the time I'm finished with this. So
Boo, real jobs.
I know. Right.
But no, you're right. It looks like they've been together 19 years, but it sounds like they've been having some marital issues, but that's not our business. So, yeah, you were right. Hmm. I didn't want to be right.
I hate it.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are my updates for my life. Uh, yeah, I figure who wants to go first this time? I mean, we want to reverse it. Courtney, do you want to go first? How do you guys want to do it?
I don't mind going first.
Okay. And then I'll go second.
Sounds good. Okay. So, today we are heading to Laramie, Wyoming. I went to school in Laramie, so a couple of these locations I have some personal experience with. I did some volunteer work um, at a couple different places through the school I went to that no longer exists because they were terrible people. Great school, allegedly. Excuse me. We're going to add allegedly into all of that. Even if they don't exist, their name still exists. But any hoozle. So we are heading into Laramie. It is about 55 miles west of Cheyenne, which is the capital, in the, what is that? Southeast corner. So you're almost into Colorado. So kind of deserty, dusty, windy. We used to have a joke that if the wind stopped blowing, everybody would fall over because it just, I mean, you're 7,500 feet in the mountains. Of course, that's all you're going to get is wind. There's nothing else blocking it from you like there is down at like sea level or a couple other. All right. So we're going to start with the Laramie Plains Civic Center. So that takes us to 710 East Garfield Street. Yes, I'm providing addresses. Some of these buildings look pretty non-assuming. It's a pretty flat, wide city. There aren't many buildings over like 3 or 4 stories. You're lucky if it's over that. I think the biggest building is the university because the University of Wyoming is in Laramie as well. So today it's a community hub. A lot of schools do plays there, concerts, events. Back in 1878, it was East Side School. It was one of the oldest schools in the entire state. Creepy. Honestly, there's a lot of things that are pretty creepy out there. Because literally the next town is Cheyenne. It's about an hour's drive. There's not really any other towns nearby. There's one, and it's 20 minutes up and over a huge, like, valley edge. And there is legally one person that lives there. So the population is 1, and there's a gas station. That's all you're going to get. So
Does the gas station owner, is he the one person? Oh,
Mm-mm.
okay. Yeah, I don't want to go there.
Nope. No.
He's like the mayor, the sheriff, he's all the things.
He is all the things.
I mean, I guess technically he kept it a city, so, or not a city, like a township. I don't know what they would call that. Let's see. And obviously, as we know, with old buildings and lots of history and emotions and whatever the hell happened back in the Old West, ghosts tend to pop up. We've yet to run into those Y2K ghosts. I need to meet a Justin or a Brittany. But today we're going to get as close as we... Seriously, I need to hear that coming from my closet. And then I'd be like, snaps, girl. Where do we send the Venmo payments? Like, come on. Anyway, so closest I think we're going to get to a Y2K ghost today is a little girl named Trixie.
Oh,
Love that name. Cute.
You love that Trixie's a ghost?
I don't mind it.
sh-
I think Trixie the ghost is precious. I'm gonna name my dog Trixie if it's a girl.
it's Trixie the ghost. It would have to be.
Yeah.
So there wasn't much on her. Kind of, they don't they kind of know that she's wearing more of like Old West garb, but there's not much to give away kind of the date that she lived there. People just kind of see her darting down the hallways, giggling, playing tricks. It doesn't say if Trixie told everybody that that's her name, or if they named it her that because they like playing tricks on everybody. So they were like, tricks are for kids. We're just gonna call you Trixie now. um, right. Staff at the Civic Center have had complaints about really, really heavy doors slamming, lights flickering. I'm not going to blame the lights flickering on her because this place is
It's an old
not
ass
well taken
building.
care of.
Yeah.
It's a very old ass building. Mind you, oh my God, what's that? Mumford and Sons did a concert at the Civic Center.
What? That's really random.
It was like 3 days after I graduated from college, and I was like really bummed out because I wanted to stay and see it. But yeah, they performed at the Civic Center. It's
Huh.
at the edge of town by the Walmart. That big building. It almost looks like a giant church. That's the Civic Center.
I was there once and I barely remember.
I was there for a little over a year.
Yeah.
Actually, Chelsea and I got stranded there in a snowstorm,
Oh, that's right.
and we had no idea. And then years later, when I went back, I was like, oh my God, I recognize this. It was the hotel literally right next to the building I went to school in.
Huh. That's funny.
Wait, I think. Yeah, so I mean, basic little ghosties. So there's not a ton. There are some people in town that say the Civic Center rests on a burial ground where they once had executions. There's nothing necessarily in writing that says that happened. I feel like
Was
it's
it
more
like
of a
white people burial ground or natives? Because I feel like native burial ground is going to be a lot spicier than just like a white people Europeans one. You know what I mean?
they're not quite sure. I mean, there's again not really a ton of evidence. They think one of the staff thinks it could have been like frontier justice, and they kind of just had a hit where they threw the bad guys or what they considered bad guys or came into town to try to mess with everybody kind of a thing.
How Wyoming?
I know.
Honestly, how Wyoming. And I mean, um, altitude sickness is 100% a thing. So
Yeah.
yes, I know these people are moving a lot slower. So they are, they're not necessarily going from below sea level or, we live at 192 feet.
Mm.
So if you go from that to 7,500 feet up in a car, you can get sick. And that could account for some of the weirder behavior by some people is just not being used to the altitude. And there wasn't much known necessarily about the higher altitudes when they were still just traveling across the country kind of a thing. Most of the country that they had been through hadn't been that tall before. So, and it's kind of
Wild to see.
it's the east side of the Rockies. So this would be the first section that they're starting to hit to try to cross over to go further west. So kind of, lots of different things that most people don't think of. And another thing most people don't think of is baking at high altitudes. It's different. You get different instructions. Yeah, I had to Google everything. If I was baking something and the box didn't have high altitude directions, I would have to Google it to find out. I mean, as well as Google did in 14 years ago, 13 years ago.
It's 2012, wasn't it?
11 is when I started.
Yeah.
So another place we're going to go, we've got a couple different stops here on our little ghosty tour. We are going to trudge on over to the University of Wyoming campus, which is pretty much the only reason Laramie tends to exist anymore. There are old people, farmers, and the college. Not much else going on there. And it looks like when the university was under construction, They found graves.
Wow, so they're just building buildings all over people.
Well, I mean, us whites tend to like to do that.
Don't group
I
me
mean,
with them.
I mean, I'm not saying that we are the one responsible, but unfortunately, the people who tend to look like us tend to
Mm-hmm.
cause lots of problems. But I feel like we've been doing that for a long time. Have we seen how many cities are on top of each other over in Europe?
Seattle. I mean,
That honestly is on my list of things to do. Is the creation of Seattle and everything that went through with
have you done
Chief
the underground
Seattle.
tour?
Yeah,
Okay, I was just making
Didn't
sure.
we do that together?
Me and you did. It was my 16th birthday, and you were visiting from Ohio.
Kim and John, because he was
Mm-hmm.
obsessed with
Les Schwab.
Les
Les
Schwab, Tire
Schwab.
King of the West.
Yep. Shout
Jesus
out Kim and
Christ.
John because I miss you guys.
And they're weird. So
They are weird. They're my kind of weird.
they're morticians.
Yes.
Morticians? That's the word, right? Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyways. Yes.
All right. Well, we're going to jump right back into college dorms.
Oh.
So yeah, during construction of Night Hall, not this is like Knight in Shining Armor, Night, not Dark Knight. Oh, that
Yeah,
doesn't
okay.
work either because if you said Dark
No.
Knight, that'd be like Batman. It's the same spelling.
Yep. Like
I'm
nighttime.
looking out the window, looking at the dark sky, and I was like, yeah, it's like nighttime.
Wow.
Good Lord. Okay. So 2004, they were doing pipeline work. More graves were discovered. They literally had just plopped this dorm room building right on top of an old cemetery.
Cute.
I'm not going to say they're the ones that removed the headstones or if they knew it was there. I'm going to play like devil's advocate here, but I'm going to go with
You just yeah. Who knows?
so along with ghosty things, students were feeling cold drafts, books just falling off shelves for the hell of it. You're telling them to get more educated. They're like, here, read a good book. Get off TikTok.
Look it
Do
up.
your homework. Here's an encyclopedia. Don't Google it. Oh, yeah, and the one that I would definitely not want to hear is voices whispering in empty corridors. Yeah. Some even claim to wake up in the middle of the night to see shadowy figures standing at the foot of their bed.
That's rude.
That's sleep paralysis.
Don't do that to me. I don't look, if you're gonna haunt me, fine, but like leave my sleep out of it.
Honestly,
Boundaries.
this is why I wear an eye mask. I wake up and I push one button in the middle, that's the power button, and it starts playing my book again. I don't even look. I don't look.
You're like,
I don't take the eye mask off. I just push the button and I go right back to sleep. Not doing this. I don't care. The devil himself could be standing at the foot of my bed and I won't be taking my eye mask off for him. Sorry,
You're like,
sir. My
thanks.
alarm
We'll
goes
talk in
off.
the morning.
Right.
Mhm.
My alarm
True.
goes off at 6:45. Wake me up a minute before that and I will kill you. My kid's favorite pastime. So, whether it's restless spirits or campus folklore, Night Hall has a reputation that might not be alone there, even when the building's empty.
I mean, it's called Whitehall or Night Hall. I mean,
Night
yeah.
Hall, yeah.
No, I don't know why I think that's creepy, but I do.
That it's a Night Hall? I mean, I don't
know.
know. Probably should have. I don't know why it's named Night Hall. If it's named after a person, we might need to look into their background before we decide if it's super creepy. But
That's fair. It's probably someone's just name or something.
yeah. Oh, in theory, in hopes. So, we're gonna go a little bit further down the road, and we're gonna go to Buckhorn Bar and Parlor. That is 114 East Ivinson Avenue. Now, I've not been to this one. There were a couple bars. My favorite one was called The Library, And on the back of their shirt, it said, "Don't lie to your mom. Tell her you're at the library." And it was the smartest thing ever. And they had a full-on bar side, but they also had a restaurant side, and it was super good. And I'm about to call them because I just finally wore through my shirt, and I want another one, and you can't buy them online. And so I'm going to call them and be like, "Can I give you my card number to just ship me like 3 of these, please?" Anyway, so this this saloon has been serving drinks for well over a century, and obviously, again, with being open for that amount of time, you tend to get some conflicts and some pretty wicked stories coming out of
Especially
that.
in Wyoming.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, Wild Wild West. We're just going to throw another W in there and go Wild Wild West, Wyoming, because that's, you know,
Fitting.
right. So one legend goes back about 50 years that a man, frustrated with the bartender, pulled a gun and just started shooting
Oh.
about just randomly. I mean, who knows? One bullet went through the ceiling, another tore through the alley, and one slammed in the mirror behind the bar. The mirror is still there with the bullet hole in it today.
That's cool.
With the lore and stuff just behind mirrors in and of itself, with the amount of
Mhm.
energy that the mirrors can hold, having a mirror like that with a bullet hole in it is insane. That is one of the things that make me nervous about buying a vintage mirror or like thrifting one.
Yeah. Do you think that they kept it on purpose or they were just broke and were like, we can't afford to replace this?
Honestly, you never know. It was 50 years ago in Wyoming.
Yeah.
Kind of really got farmers and college kids coming in for beer. So it's like hey, why is there a bullet on that? And so it kind of got them to talk, and maybe slid a couple shots in front of them before they knew it was happening. And then, they were flouncing around drinking beers all night.
There you go.
But that's also a really good conversation starter. Like, what is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Like, I work with glass. I can fix that. And they're like, no, we like
No,
it
no.
like this.
Please don't. Yeah.
This
Right. We
belongs
don't.
here.
Yeah. We don't need that. Um, we have one slightly smaller side tangent for that, but there's another tale that in 93, someone at the bar walked into the bathroom and never came back.
What? Like they killed themselves or they just like disappeared?
Poof, gone.
It's the rapture
Of the one
person.
person in a bar in Wyoming. They're like, oh, just this guy going to take a
We just want
leak.
him. Mm-hmm.
We just like this one.
If he would have ordered one more, he wouldn't be coming with us. But because he decided to go to the bathroom, we are taking
Word.
him with us.
Perfection.
93 was a good year.
Oh boy. It got a lot more crowded that year.
Yeah. Big personality over here.
Mm-hmm.
One thing's for sure, that the Buckhorn has character, and maybe even a few customers that never actually left. So we are going to go to the last one, and this is the one that I have the most experience with. This is the Wyoming Territorial Prison. My apartment was literally like less than a 10-minute walk from here.
Did you say this is the one you have the most experience with?
Yeah.
Were you in that prison many times?
Yeah.
Why?
This is a Wild West prison, so it is no longer obviously being used.
It's like,
No.
what?
Brucey, it's a territorial prison. Those do not
I'd be there every weekend. That sounds like a freaking blast.
Honestly, it was pretty fun until you went into the bigger building that had 3 levels, and then it just felt claustrophobic and too open all at the same time.
That's
It was
what
weird.
jail feels like.
I'm sure. I'm 100% sure. So the reason I have, and since we started with addresses, this is 975 Snowy Range Road.
Oh,
It was built.
Snowy
It was
range.
yeah. I honestly, the names were amazing. I lived on Ventura Avenue.
Sounds like California.
I love a
I
good
know,
road name that's not a number. I've always had
Right?
number roads, and it's just boring.
I
It is boring.
literally told my real estate agent that he better not show me any houses on numbered streets because I wanted to buy a house on a named street. And I live in
Huh.
such a small town. I got the 3 number address on a named
Yep.
road, which is chef's kiss. Like,
Well, it's
I
couldn't be
always
live
any
on a
more quaint.
US highway, so
they always do those freaking like quizzes. No, this was more when I was like a teenager, not now, but it was always fun because it was like, what's your dancer name? And it's like the name of your first dog and the street you live on. And I was like, Ernie 48th. Wow, wild.
like
You
what a
know?
That
great
was people
stripper
trying to
name.
get your banking information.
Yeah, pretty much. I was stupid, but still, you're just like, dang it, man, give me a good one. I
Would
never
like
had
to
a
go
good
on a
one.
brief tangent because you mentioned Ernie. Ernie was one of our dachshunds we had growing up. Um, Tucker visited today.
What?
Tough.
So I was upstairs in my bedroom. I had 2 dogs. They both passed away within 3 weeks of each other, 2.5 years ago. And I had a Great Dane. He was 8 years old and he had bone cancer. And then I had a Lord knows what mixture he was. I think we called him like a Chow Shepherd mix. He was 10, almost 10 at the time. And after the Great Dane got put down because of his bone cancer, the other one was so sad he just stopped eating and he died of a broken heart, is what we said. Anyway, so I went upstairs to my room I don't remember if I was grabbing something or putting something. Oh, I had just gotten more hangers. So I went to go put more hangers upstairs so I could put everything away. And I hear a dog jump on my bed. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's my pit bull. I have a pit bull named Floki, and we got her a little over a year ago. And I was like, oh, it's Floki. So I finished doing my stuff, and then I don't hear the dog jump down. And I went to go walk out the door, and I was like, Flo, where are you? Flo was traipsing around in the front yard. There was nobody in the house with me. The
Mhm.
kids were over at Amy's house, my neighbor, and it didn't sound like Gunner because Gunner was 120 pounds. So you could definitely tell the difference between an 80-pound dog and a 120-pound dog. So Tucker came to visit today.
Oh,
That's
tough.
sweet.
Yeah, he's buried in my backyard.
Along with
Yeah.
my dog.
And our mom's dog and the Great Dane. So we have a
Mhm.
Pet cemetery, if
miniature.
you will.
I was going to say a miniature pet cemetery sans Mr. King because it does not. They do not come back.
No. Timmy's living his best life.
Yeah.
All right, we went on our tangent about dogs. Okay, so
I
Wyoming
called him
Territorial Prison.
Timber. I just said Timmy.
I thought you
That
meant
was
Timmy.
that was Buck.
Oh, you meant Bug.
Oh,
I thought you were talking about Timber.
baby.
No,
I
I was
thought you were
talking
talking
about
about Timber
Buck.
too. Oh,
That's
Timber was another
wild.
one of our dogs. We had a shitload of dogs growing up. So
Lots of dogs.
We've always had dogs. Always, always.
yeah. And then in our adult life, we always have animals. So there's always something happening with somebody's furry pets and
Always
all that jazz.
pets. We love our pets.
So the territorial prison, the reason I have personal experience with it was we got extra points. So I went to Wyoming Technical Institute. I was an automotive mechanic, and then I got injured, and so I started working um, service side as far as like a service advisor and stuff. Anyway, so I was there going to school, and you got extra points, like extra credit points, if you volunteered in the community. Well, they did haunted hay rides through the town through the month
That's
of
right.
October, and you got to volunteer, and you could be a reenactor, you could be a tour guide, you could be like on the wagon that people are sitting on the hay bales. They literally drive you through town, and then the wagon will stop. I was just they had a huge shootout with 35 people, and they redid it every 15 minutes
Oh my gosh.
for 4 hours, 4 or 5 nights a week.
That wouldn't upset any spirits.
I know. Well, I feel like they were trying to do right by them. Like, they're trying to tell their story. So I was given a tale of a woman who came out, was pretty much, I wouldn't say like purchased, but the guy was like, I need a wife. And they were like, hey, we have a wife here for you. Let's just ship her on out to you.
Let's
Well, when
send
she
you the wife.
got there, he had gone like hunting, or he had gone off to go prepare their homestead or the space that they were going to make a homestead, and he never came back. And so she kind of was just waiting at the train station for her fiance husband the whole time. And I was the woman in white. And literally, I had a black blanket standing next to me. Like, I was so, there's a huge railroad set up in the middle of town. And there's a huge, like, story and a half bridge that you have to walk up the ladder to go up and over the railroad tracks to the other side of town. I'm standing on the stairs. People are coming down the road after the big shootout. They stop right next to me. I can hear the person. I'm just supposed to be staring off into the distance. I kind of made my face a little bit more pale. I put some like baby powder in my hair to kind of make it look a little bit more mystical. I had the old school dress on from the territorial prison. They had like costumes and stuff to go along with this. And um, as soon as I heard the um, tour guide stop talking, I would hear cap guns going off on the next block. So it would draw everybody's attention. I would then duck under the black blanket as close to the railing as I could. And so when people would turn around and look, I'd be gone.
Mhm.
So, and I mean, each tour was about 45 minutes, and then they would end at the territorial prison, and they'd have a nighttime tour through the territorial prison. So that's my personal experience. I was at the territorial prison 5-6 times a week for an entire month. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was like totally creepy. I kind of got some vibes, but it's an old like stone building. Like, of course you're going to get some vibes coming from there. But I think
Hmm.
there was enough people there that it kind of, I wasn't in there alone. There was at least 10 people around me at all times doing different things. So I think maybe it was more that it just wasn't quiet or settled down enough, and there was just too much going on that even if something probably did happen, we probably wouldn't have even noticed, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So this was built in 1872, and it's housed some of the West's most infamous criminals, including Butch Cassidy.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's
They
cool.
have his cell roped off. They will let you go in and sit down, and they will shut the door.
No.
Creepy as hell.
No.
Not
Thanks, but
gonna
no.
happen. Um, Unfortunately, even as a free person in the Wild West back in late 1800s, wasn't a great environment. It wasn't very nurturing. So you can imagine what it would be like in a prison. You know, it was disease spread so fast. People were piled on top of each other. Punishments were
Totally.
harsh. Riots broke out. Some people just never left. I mean, they either died from these riots from other inmates or even from, you know, either killing themselves because we heard in quite a few tours that on the third level that people would take their bed sheets and jump off the edge. One guy learned the hard way why nobody does it off the second.
Because he won't die.
The bed sheet was too long to break his
He broke
neck,
his legs.
and he was like maybe a couple inches from the ground, and he couldn't
Oh,
touch, but he could like barely touch, but like not touch enough to like take it off. So he literally just
well, took
slowly
longer than he wanted it to, but he got what he wanted.
100%. That is definitely not how he was planning on having it go.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
that's a bummer.
It is, yeah. So it's a historic site for the state now, so it is protected, and they do tours and everything. And obviously, people have mentioned shadows. I have seen some shadows in there, but I mean, I do believe in ghosts. I do. I've had my own experiences, but like, I don't know. There may have been a couple that I've been like, okay, but when you're in a stone building with windows everywhere, people walking all over the place, like,
You're not going to see much, or at least be able to like not explain it, you know?
well, and if you do see a shadow, it's like, okay, somebody walked in front of the window over there. Like, it's like, anyway, it's mentally easily explainable when you're there with multiple people. So if you do go, make sure you go with like a smaller group or like look at you can call. Most of the time the people in the office are super nice. It's a family, and they run the tours, and they'll tell you what times to come if you want a smaller tour. And they even do nighttime tours, I believe now. So if you guys ever happen to be driving down I-80 through Laramie, Wyoming, you can stop in and do that. Um, yeah, I mean it's all just pretty basic ghosts, but you know, the Wild West it is definitely wild, and it's still wild and in Wyoming.
Yeah, to say the
So
least.
yeah, I that was where I lived for a little over a year, and I quite enjoyed it. I had some high highs and some low lows by totaling my car literally October.
Ah, see?
The
Mm.
spirits didn't like me playing what's her bucket. I don't even remember the name of the lady. This was, like I said, 14 years ago. I don't remember what the lady's name was, but yeah. So that's a little about me, and that I lived in Wyoming to go to college, and here we are. So
Here we are.
yeah.
Um, okay, so mine is I lived in Ireland when I was 15. And I feel like sometimes I'm like
Ooh,
those classic like kids that studied abroad where it's like I need to slip it into every conversation and be like, "Well, I studied abroad." And it's like, yes, it was
you
Ireland. It was
did,
great.
but you lived there. Like you got mail
Yeah.
there. You had an apartment there. Like
Yeah, so it was awesome. And I feel like there are certain cultures of people that when you meet them, they just feel a little bit more. I don't know if spiritual is the right word, but there's like the Irish and the Celtic people are such an old like civilization and like culture that like there's just this feeling to even the dumbest shit Irish people that you meet, because there's plenty of those. Like you still get this vibe from being there of like this is ancient land. There's things that have happened here, and you just kind of feel that. And
deep
so
roots.
yeah, exactly. There's really deep
You
roots,
feel the
and
history.
very much so. Yeah. Well, because you walk right past it, walking down the street or driving down the road. There's these crumbling, like little, like fucking towers, and you're like, the fuck? And it's just there in the middle of a random
Right.
town. And
From
so,
the 1100s.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, with the Irish, like, I, I decided to kind of tell you guys a little bit about some Irish folklore and stop making faces. And so I had originally was going to do a castle, and like it was haunted and had these weird spirits. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck that. Like we want weird, right? And so I kind of dug a little bit deep for some yeah, weird ass folklore. So we're going to go through that. Just know that anybody listening, if you're Irish and you're like, that's not the version I know, a lot of these stories were passed on by word of mouth. And so, like, there's different versions of them from all over the country. And so, the version that you know might not be the version that somebody else knows, but I'm
Sure,
going to do
each
my,
family probably has their own version too, and
yeah,
Well, it's very
exactly.
much like telephone.
Yep. It's just going to get translated differently. And, again, these were probably told originally in Gaelic, and now they're in English, kind of. But I'm going to do my very best to pronounce these Gaelic words. And I thought maybe it'd be fun to play a game and you guys can figure out how to spell it because they're
I will not.
stupid. Okay. Um, okay. So the first one that we're going to talk about, it's called the Slua, and it's spelled Slugh, Slua. And so kind of picture this. It's a swarm of the restless dead flying across the night sky like a murder of crows is essentially kind of what it's been described as, except instead of crows, it's human
Dead bodies.
souls. Yeah, so like actual people, just, dead ones. But they travel in a pack. A lot of sources called them like a black wind. And the creepiest part, though, is that they're known for slipping in through west-facing windows to steal the souls of the dying. So this is the moment I read that today. I was like, shit, what way do my windows face? My bedroom window faces west.
Well,
God
if you're
damn
not
it.
dying, then we
It's
kind
true.
of don't really have a problem.
Yeah, it's true. But I definitely checked right away. So, it just made you wonder, like, if you hear wings or something outside your bedroom window, are you going to look or are you going to, like, fuck that and just hide under your blanket?
Well, I have owls in my backyard, so
But owls are silent until they make a sound, I guess. But when they fly, they're silent. Don't look at me like
okay.
that. Like a whoo sound, but when they fly, they're quiet. Oh, yeah, okay. Anyways, so that was the Slua. This one's the Doulahan. That's pretty much how it sounds. But this is like a headless horseman, but instead it's Irish and older and a lot more terrifying. So the way it sees where it's going is it holds its head under its arm and the eyes glow in the dark.
Ichabod.
Scanning.
Is that
It's where it came from, yes. So it scans around for souls, and wherever he stops riding, someone's about to die.
I
Yeah,
mean, I know a black cat that'll do that for free.
it's like a death Uber kind of thing.
And he doesn't have to carry an extra piece of baggage. He doesn't need to carry his head.
Yeah, you're just gonna, he's there under his arm, just chilling. But the whip that he carries, it's made out of a human spine.
Oh,
That's metal as
Yeah.
fuck.
yeah, that
That is
is
metal.
super
Yeah.
metal. I dig
Yeah.
that. Not gonna lie.
Where was that from our serial killers? Like, why'd they have to go make weird things like nipple belts and skin lamps? Why couldn't they make spine whips?
I imagine it wouldn't stay together very well.
Obviously, it stayed together well for this guy. And are they actually using it? Because they make wind chimes. It's like, come on,
Out of a
guys.
spine?
Out of bones. We've got
Oh, I guess they do. You know who would
an
love that? My
Australian serial
chiropractor.
killer. Please tell him.
I'm gonna, because he has human spines all over his office, and I'm gonna tell him all about
My
the
God,
whip.
we need to 3D print a spine and make it
Could you
into a
imagine?
whip.
He would be the happiest person on planet Earth. He's literally obsessed with the spine. He's really weird about it, but like he's also my chiropractor, so it's cool.
I
Because
was gonna say, I feel like you should be with that
Yeah.
profession.
I'm printing Dad's 3D vertebrae candle holders for his desk at the office.
I might have to do something for him for Christmas. He would love that.
Yeah. 'Cause,
Um,
sorry, long tangent. We can talk about this later. Sorry.
You're fine.
Yeah.
Is it about a spine whip?
Well, I was like, they actually sell the filament for the 3D printers in a bone color, so you can buy like the actual color of a bone.
That's amazing. Yeah,
That's
we'll chat
cool.
about that because he would love
Yes,
that.
yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay, so that was the Doulahan. This is the Puka. So this little guy is a little tricky. It's a shapeshifter, and sometimes it shows up as a horse. Sometimes it's a goat. Sometimes it's a big black dog. So it's like a really messed up petting zoo. But basically, the Puka shows up as a horse and it offers you a ride, but you can't say yes because if you do, it's going to pull you
Who
down
wouldn't
into the
accept
ocean. I don't know,
What in
but
the
you
Elsa
can't
is
say
happening
yes.
now?
That's exactly what I thought of was Elsa in Frozen 2 when she gets pulled down into the deep, but the Puka leaves you there and you die. So very
Well,
similar,
you also
except
can't
not.
freeze the puka. Elsa could
That's
freeze
true.
the puka. So
Yeah. So yeah, if you accept the ride, it will end with you being dumped into a swamp, essentially thorn bush, ocean. It's gonna drown you, kill you, whatever it's gonna do.
body of
So
water nearby.
it's like classic prankster, but monster form. So And sometimes it talks like with a human voice, gives prophecies, and sometimes it just likes to mock you. So
Hard pass.
yeah. So would you get on a talking horse? Chelsea would.
Yes.
I mean, does the horse just say, I mean, is it like super sweet? Like, hey, come on, let's go for a ride. Or is it like a white van with blacked out windows type? Want to ride? Pick it on.
I'm okay with either.
Of course you are. No, basically, all it gave me was that it either gave prophecies or would mock you, which, if you've met an Irish person, it's very fitting for them. I, not to offend anybody, but I know a few. So,
They'll probably all agree with you. So,
yeah, they're either very like one guy specifically I know, Jake and I just saw him a few weeks ago. He's so great with poetry and really good with words. And then he'll send me these random voice messages. And I'm like, what the fuck are you even saying? Like, I can't even hear you. And your slang is stupid. And like, anyways, it's thing. But, okay. So we also have the Black Pig of Muckno. So this one is from County Monaghan, the Black Pig of Muckno. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a giant, shadowy black pig that haunts a bog. Questions?
I do have a question. Is the black pig owned by the Black Monk of Pontefract?
I don't know.
Well, they're in England, and I just wanted to know.
This is in Ireland, and if any Irish
Well,
person ever heard you compare the two, they would kill you in your sleep.
no. I just mean that I not say that they're the same. I just mean that they're close and they're right there. And it's like, okay, well, there's the Black Monk, and it's not just a pig; it's a black pig. So I'm like,
Black pig. Yep. So I don't know.
That's
Maybe
immediately what
there's a
popped in my head.
relation. Yeah. So this pig is somehow scarier than a ghost for most people because it destroys farmland and it ruins crops, and it was considered a full-on omen of doom, and so most farmers were pretty terrified of it. But like, imagine hearing a pig snorting in the darkness only to see this like massive steaming black shadow destroying your land.
I'd go back inside and go back to sleep. It didn't
You're like,
happen.
I'm not going to deal with this right now.
I will
waits
deal
for
with
morning.
this when the sun comes up.
Correct.
When the sun comes. That is tomorrow me's problem.
Correct.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Daylight me is way less scared than nighttime me.
That's fair. What is it? Is it the unknown? Is that what it is about the dark? Because it's the exact same. You just can't see.
Yeah, it's losing a sense for sure.
I suppose. Yeah. Okay. This next one you guys have probably heard of. So it's a changeling, but the Irish word for it is Shioga. And so it's spelled Sioga, Shioga. But this one's kind of unsettling on like a different level. It's fairies who steal human babies and replace them with eerie, sickly lookalikes. So people actually believe that their babies were being stolen, and what was left was a like fairy changeling. And parents sometimes performed like tests to see if a child was really theirs. So things that are pretty horrifying, like holding the baby over fire or forcing strange foods onto them and see if they reacted, like shit like that, to see if it was actually a human baby. So way darker than, it goes, but it kind of blurs the lines between like folklore and kind of tragedy, in my opinion, this one, because imagine raising a child you love, but always wondering, is this like my child? And then now in very modern times, we know it was their child. It was just sick version, like their child was sick or
Well, I've
not right in
heard
the
that
head or
I don't know if this could be, because I know I've read a few books with a storyline somewhat similar to this, and I may be cross-contaminating what I've heard folklore-wise. Isn't it that if you don't discover that your child's a changeling and switch them back, how, I don't know, but that is just part of it. If you don't switch them back, your kid's lost forever. And then doesn't the changeling die or disappear shortly after? Like it's a super sickly version of your kid and then they die shortly?
they die. So a lot of
Okay.
people will then say like, or back then would say like, well, that wasn't my child, that was the changeling, but then their child is lost forever. And so it's like, it's kind of like
Right.
a multi-level grief process for them because that's what they understood it. But
Yeah.
it really was just their child that died because they were sick. To take the, it's not
It's
so
a way to
weird now in
blame.
modern times. Hmm. Yeah.
That's that's a rough coping mechanism, sounds like, but
Yeah. Well, back in the day, if someone was like neurodivergent or autistic or, you know, mute or something, they probably would have said like, oh, this isn't my child. This is a changeling. And that's what's heartbreaking about it. But which is why most people have heard of the Shioga for that reason. But yeah, it's what they believed back in the day.
I heard a weird comparison today, and part of me thinks it makes sense, but part of me doesn't. It's um the changeling situation is a similar situation to people with saying like vaccines cause autism. It's like um that they're blaming fairies for this, and you're blaming some potion
Hmm.
for this.
Yeah,
It's the same
essentially.
thing that's kind of happening now. Um, I literally had just heard a story with Changeling in it today, scrolling through Instagram. So I just thought it was kind of
Yeah.
weird that you switched it to this, and I had heard that. But yeah, it was kind of a similar kind of marrying it in and kind of making it more palatable for today's
Yeah.
minds, because not all of them, you think back in the day where people thought about this, but what people don't know is this was still happening at the turn of the last century. Like
Hmm.
the 1900s was like the last time so it was still happening 125 years ago, and people can't
Yes.
necessarily comprehend that it's been going on for that long. And they're like, oh, well, we're better now. It's like, no, we just have different scenarios now.
Well, we're smarter now, you know, and we know more about what's going on, but we still, like, compared to where we're going to be in 125 years, we've got nothing on that. So, like, there are things we're doing now for sure. I think we're going to look back on and be like, that's barbaric. I can't
Yeah.
believe that they did that. And this is
Yeah.
like an example of that because this is what they believed. And it's also crazy to me, like, yes, both the Irish and the Scottish are Gaelic, but they are different types, you know, like they're it's still different cultures. They both have very clear folklore about the changeling, and it's interesting just to see the little differences. But um the next one is pronounced Keelok, and she is an ancient hag goddess of
Yes.
storms and winter. So I was like, this bitch is my best friend.
Amen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hag like goddess of storms and winter. And so she leaps across mountains and she drops boulders from her apron and literally shapes the landscape of the island of Ireland. So, like the Irish explanations for weird mountains, basically giant angry grandma dropped her rocks here is kind of legitimate because that's something that they really believe. What is that?
Dad.
his rally stash, I just saw it come up and I laughed.
That
Sorry
rally stash.
for the Mariners.
Oh
Yeah,
dear.
Mariners
You
in the
look
Sorry.
postseason.
so old
Our
and
dad just
gray.
sent a picture to our family group chat.
You know what? I bet Rob's gonna do it. I bet when I open that door, he'll probably have a stash too.
Is this the witchcraft we're talking about?
They all, most of the Mariners guys have had stashes for the last couple weeks, and now they're just gonna call it the rally stash. So I guess
Dad
There are
used the
worse trends.
hashtag.
He did use a
he did use
hashtag.
a hashtag. Look at him go.
Get it
Really
wrong,
proud.
but still.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Sorry, you guys. Some may not be aware also because this is our second episode and we are still divulging information slowly about us. We are in a family group chat, but it's not just a normal family group chat. Our parents have been divorced for 25 years. So it is myself, Kendall, and Chelsea with our mom, our dad, and our stepmom. This is an ongoing thing. We get texts 24/7 from this text.
24/7. Literally, Jake sometimes looks at my phone. He's like, why do you have 47 missed messages? I'm like, because I haven't looked at my phone in 5 minutes.
It's muted for
Right.
me, by the way.
Yeah,
Eh.
same.
Yeah, 3
Yeah.
a.m. I can look at my phone and have a new message from
Oh,
this group
absolutely.
chat. So sometimes if we share things on here, it's because it came in the family chat. So, just if this is a long-term project, which I hope for us and hopefully for you guys, if you the listeners enjoy it, um, this will be a starting of a semi-inside joke, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
It's crazy windy here, like a squirrel. Like I could just hear it just now. I'm so excited for the stormy weather to be showing up. But okay, no, back to giant angry grandma who dropped her rocks.
hell yeah.
Um, so people used to leave the Kyla offerings so she wouldn't freeze their cattle overnight. And so, like, imagine depending on the weather and believing a storm hag might kill your herd unless you kept her happy. Because honestly, that sounds more reasonable than some of the shit I hear these days.
Mm-hmm.
For real.
So,
Oh,
yeah, right. So she's my favorite by far, the Kylock. This
mm-hmm.
one, let's see if I pronounce this well. Illifesht. Illifesht, we're going to go with that. It's a massive serpent-like water monster. Long before Nessie, in Scotland, Ireland had these legends of lake serpents. And so, of
Basilisk.
course, yeah, they had their own cryptid. And what's weirder is this one cut off a section of the River Shannon to create a lake and just rerouted like a whole river, essentially, is what this one did. But
What are you doing?
I remember what.
Someone opened the door and then just stood there, and I assumed it was Rob, but he's gone.
Oh, okay. He's wanting to
Like
show
a
you his
fart in the
mustache.
wind.
Yeah, he's showing off his mustache, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, so I remember this one because we actually lived at the base of the Dublin Hills. I'm calling them hills, not mountains, because they are hills. And there were a couple lakes that we would drive up past up in the hills that were rumored to have like a lake serpent in them. So it always made us think of the Loch Ness Monster, but the Irish version. But that is the Illifesht. And then the last one, this one is the Avartok, and it's an Irish vampire.
What?
And so this is like
Yes.
Ireland's own version of the vampire, but it's not like. Also, first of all, did you know that Bram Stoker was Irish? I did not know that until recently. He was Irish.
I
A lot
didn't
of people, you didn't know that either, right?
know.
Yeah. So a lot of people think that Dracula was inspired by this legend of the Vartok. This one is spelled Abhartach. So it's an Irish name. Pretty
Yeah.
much. Anyway, so there's a good chance that he was inspired by his country's own legends. And the way that it makes it different from your classic vampire is it's not like this suave count in a cape. This vampire was described as like a cruel dwarf-like chieftain who rose from the grave demanding blood of his subjects. So if you killed him, he'd just keep coming back unless you buried him upside down or pinned him with a sword made of yew wood. So like
So like
literally,
Gimli pirate, Gimli vampire. Why do I keep wanting to call him?
yes, but you can only kill him with yew wood, which again, when I read that, I thought of Hotel Transylvania when he's like, stake to the heart, would that kill you? And he's like, well, yeah, who wouldn't that kill? You know what I mean? So,
Okay, would it keep you dead? Would it keep
uh,
you killed? Is what the question should be asked.
yeah, keep you dead, right? So
Yeah.
imagine being though the villager that has to go up and see if he's still dead because he hasn't crawled out of his grave. Apparently he did it multiple times. They'd kill him, bury him, because it was like tradition in Ireland or something to bury him. Oh, warriors standing up. So the big asshole put him in it and whatever. Well, they did that multiple times and he kept coming out of his grave. So eventually they were told he has to be upside down and stabbed through with a yew wood sword. And it sounds like he didn't come back out, but there are no confirmations on that. So he could still be wandering around. But
He just does it in
Oh,
secret
yeah.
so people stop stabbing him.
word. But yeah, that's Ireland, home of the restless death swarms and headless riders and giant pigs and storm hags. It's It's an amazing country. So if anybody ever gets the chance to go or live or be, I loved every second of it. But if I'm being honest,
A
I'm still
lot of
kind of
fun.
stuck on the human spine whip, but I've been distracted the whole time since then.
No, we're gonna be doing something about that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that sounds dope as fuck, and it needs to come to fruition.
Yes.
When you were talking about the flying spirits, totally reminded me of like a aurora borealis of Hades' death river in Hercules, just above you.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's the slua.
Yeah, or for my smut girlies, the Akatar. It's the horror version of Starfall. So, uh, okay, I'm gonna just do a little background, as little as I can. It may be a spoiler alert, so for anybody who wants to and hasn't, you suck and you should have done it a long time ago. And I know you have a friend that's been telling you that. So here's
That's harsh.
I have friends and they've read it and they were like, "Oh, I wish I would have read it a long time ago." I was like, "No shit. We've been telling you that for a long time. I'm guilty too, but I will tell you I told you so." Anyway, they have a festival and their souls traveling and they don't know where they're traveling from or to, but it happens every year and they just look like stars, but that it kind of falls on you and so you glow like the little bits. It's almost like fireflies like glowing all over you and they call it starfall. And I was like, this is just the horror version of Starfall.
Yeah.
Because you
They take you
actually see
away.
the soul coming through instead of just a ball of star that throws glitter at you. Yeah. Anyway,
What a visual.
honestly, that's literally how my brain works. Everything has to be turned into a picture. Everything has to be turned into something visual.
Well, Chelsea, you've lived in a few places.
I have. So today we're gonna go to one of my least favorite places, but this is a great story. So we're gonna go to Ohio. Um,
Oh,
yeah, not my favorite.
Just
Look,
southern,
if you're from
only
Ohio, I'm
Southern
so
Ohio.
sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry. It just was like one of the most boring places I've ever lived.
We're going
Not gonna lie.
Columbus and South because I
Yeah.
actually quite enjoyed Northern Ohio.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. It was not great. Not my cup of tea. So, but anyway, this story, once I started, writing it out, um, if you haven't seen it, is really similar to Unknown Number, the documentary that is out right now, and it kind of has a really similar feel to it. So this happened in Circleville, which is just south of Columbus. I didn't live in Circleville. But I lived close enough and we went there. They have festivals and like a pumpkin show every year. It's a cute town. Um, it's a quiet community. It's the kind of place where people knew each other and they left their doors unlocked at night. Um,
It's the beginning of every bad story.
yeah,
Say
well,
that.
I
I
mean,
live in a town that does that.
until you
Till it
don't.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's see. In 1976, that sense of safety was shattered. Mysterious letters began appearing in mailboxes, anonymous, handwritten, and filled with accusations. Accusations of affairs, corruptions, crimes, and they weren't vague. They were naming names.
Oh.
Yeah, at the center of it all was a
Dropping
woman named
heat.
Mary Gillespie. She was a school bus driver in Circleville. She was the first to receive a letter. And in big block letters with no return address, it accused her of having an affair with the school superintendent, Gordon Massey. The letter warned her to end it or face exposure. Mary insisted that the accusations weren't true, But soon her husband Ron started getting letters too. Here's the thing. The writer knew everything. Where they lived, where they worked, what time they left the house. This wasn't a prank. Someone was watching them.
It's like Pretty Little Liars.
Right? It didn't stop with the Gillespies, though. Dozens of people in Circleville started getting these letters. Some accused town officials of embezzlement. Others accused residents of domestic abuse or secret affairs. The handwriting was always the same. Block letters written with what looked like a felt tip marker. The message was always clear. Your secrets will come out. These letters spread fear like wildfire through this town. Who was doing it, and how did they know so much? The most chilling of all, why wouldn't they stop? On August 19th, 1977, the letters took a deadly turn.
Oh.
Ron Gillespie, Mary's husband, got a phone call late at night. The caller, unknown, but Ron seemed to recognize who it was. He grabbed his gun, jumped in his pickup truck, and sped off into the night. Moments later, he was dead. His truck veered off the road and crashed into a tree. When police arrived, they found the gun inside. One round had been fired, but no bullet was ever found. The official ruling was an accident, but many in Circleville believe otherwise. Had Ron been silenced, and had the letter writer orchestrated his death? The years passed, the letters continued. Mary was still being harassed. Then in 1983, something horrifying happened. Mary was driving her bus route when she saw a crude sign along the road. It accused her teenage daughter of unspeakable things. She was
story.
right. She was big mad, and she got out and tried to tear it down. But when she did, she found it was rigged with a booby trap. A loaded gun set to fire the moment she pulled the sign free. By some miracle, it didn't go off, but police traced the gun's serial number, and it belonged to a man named Paul Freshore. I don't know if that's how you say it, but we're going to go with that. Paul was Mary's former brother-in-law. He was the prime suspect for a long time. Paul?
I mean, who else would know what they're doing all the time?
Yeah.
But if it's over a dozen people in town?
Right? Like, he must be busy. I don't know. Paul was arrested and put on trial. The prosecutors claimed that he had written the letters to torment Mary and the town. The handwriting experts compared samples. The match was never perfect, but they had the gun tied to the booby trap. Paul insisted he was innocent. He said the gun had been stolen, and he denied writing a single letter. The jury didn't buy it, and Paul was sentenced to prison. You ready for the twist?
Yep.
While Paul was behind bars, the letters kept coming. Hundreds of them, mailed from all over Ohio. Some even sent directly to Paul himself, taunting him. How are you writing these? Prison officials asked. When you're locked up, Paul had no answer. Authorities tried putting him in solitary confinement. They monitored his mail, but the letters didn't stop. By the mid-1990s, the letters finally tapered off. Paul was released from prison in 94 after serving a decade. To his dying day, he claimed he was framed. He said the real Circleville writer was still out there. No one was ever caught, no one was ever proven guilty, and the case remains unsolved. The Circleville letters left behind more questions than answers. Who was behind them? How did they know so much about all the townspeople? And why did they stop? Maybe it was Paul. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe the writer was someone close to Mary all along. But in the end, Circleville became famous for something it never wanted. A faceless voice that turned neighbor against neighbor. And a mystery nearly 50 years later that isn't solved.
The fuck?
Absolutely terrifying.
Isn't that wild?
So, were these postmarked or were they hand delivered?
They were postmarked. So
Okay,
they
just
came from
had no
all over.
return address.
No return address. Yeah, they were postmarked from all over Ohio. So someone was traveling to deliver, you know.
These letters to different places
Mhm.
to send them.
I want to know,
Yeah.
like, were they, excuse me, were they in like a job position or something where they just found out information? Like, the lady that
Mm.
does my nails here in town, she knows everything about everybody because everybody talks to her. I feel like it has to be something like that where like everyone just kind of
Yeah,
says
I
things
mean,
and they were just like, screw it,
you
I'm going to start using it.
you think about it, this was pre-social media. So it's not like
Hmm.
people were writing this down like we do
It's the
everything
county.
now.
Someone probably works at the county in the county clerk's office because those bitches know everything.
It it's
That's
wild. I mean,
wild.
I've
Yeah.
there's a lot more to the story. And it digs into different people. Um, you know, but they really don't have answers on who did it. But the fact of the matter is, like, if it's just letters being creepy and saying people are having affairs, like that's one thing. But then when it turned to a booby trap with a gun, like someone probably should have been charged for that. But
Yeah, I was
Right.
thinking about that because, like, the one guy, he's driving down the street. They can't prove anybody orchestrated that, right? But like a booby trapped sign with a gun, who's pulling that sign down, and it's going to be her mom. So, like,
yeah,
they knew, like, someone definitely should have been charged for that because that was attempted murder.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, so many questions and crazy that in 50 years they haven't found it. Like, was DNA ever found on the envelopes? I could never find anything about that. I mean, but
Wow.
small town in, small town Ohio in 1970s, I don't know that that's something they would have thought about, but I don't know.
Probably not. Not most small towns, especially if it wasn't like there were murders there multiple times. Like,
Yeah.
this was probably a police force in the 70s that hadn't dealt with stuff like that. I
Yeah.
don't know,
So
but I would
unsolved,
assume so.
unsolved sucks, but it's kind of crazy that it's still unsolved, to be honest.
Yeah, that story is wild. It is kind of similar to the unknown number. I kept expecting you to be like, and it was her daughter or something like that. And I was like waiting for it. Where's the twist? And
Yeah.
then fuck,
No,
yeah, that's wild.
just crazy letters.
Mm.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well,
Pre-text message assaults.
I know. That's what I was
This was
thinking about.
cyberbullying.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, because I watch, you guys know this, and now the whole world will know this. I watch Pretty Little Liars all the time. It's like my comfort show, right? Like just something on in the background. And like
Mhm.
the amount of times I've been watching it and think no one could do that now because everyone knows everything and you're tracked everywhere you go. And like you can't send a message or an email or a picture without there being some kind of like paper trail of it. So
Yeah.
they couldn't do that the way that they used to
Hmm.
before
No, and
everyone
now
shared their
pictures have IP addresses attached to them, and you can
flat
Yeah.
screen
trace where they came.
longitudes. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Just remember, kids, the internet is forever.
Yeah, Jake and I were talking about it a couple days ago of like, at what point do we hit the delete all accounts and just have a landline kind of life? Because it's so overwhelming, especially these
Yeah.
days being on, like, I've deleted social media off my phone because I just can't do it. It's so much hate and anger. And you said this, well, they said that all the time. And I'm so tired of it. So I'm like, just
Yeah.
done, people.
It is overwhelming for sure.
I watch animal sanctuary videos and rug cleaning videos. They don't get too political.
They don't. Those rug
Yeah.
cleaning videos are really cathartic.
I love the rug cleaning.
I like
Yeah.
farrier videos too.
Oh,
I like
yeah.
the cow foots. I didn't know much about cow feet until freaking the Hoof GP or whatever. I love him.
Um, Mitch loves watching when they do cow feet and they find abscesses in them.
Same.
When they pull things out of it. Yeah. Yeah.
He loves it. I literally looked over one night because he's got
Hmm.
his phone mounted on the wall and he falls asleep listening to a YouTube video. But you can't shut the screen off because it's YouTube.
Hmm.
So it just keeps
And it was
going.
cow abscesses. And I was like,
Yep.
what is happening?
Yep. I love it. I love them. Love them. They're fantastic. Little side note here, though. Not that we are sponsored in any way, shape, or form, but I just want to plug comfort hoodies because it seems to
Yes.
be the uniform of choice for us as we are all in a different color comfort hoodie right now. Um, it is it's kind of a splurge for some, and it is a good splurge though. I don't have any of the sweatpants. I do just have the hoodies. I plan to get a pair of the sweatpants, but um, yeah, we love them. So shout
Mm-hmm.
out Comfort and your amazing hoodies. But yeah, go get you one because now that it's fall, you'll be wearing it all the time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
bought a
And
travel set. I have 3 sets with the sweats, and one of my sets I also have the shorts in. We're all wearing one of the pastel colors. I
Hmm.
bought one of the travel sets, and it's a little bit weighted for anxiety, and it had a zip-up hoodie and all these extra pockets, and I was so comfortable on the flight. But the funniest thing, again, I wish they were sponsoring us or something because this is not. I'm not making this up. I was sitting in a window seat on my flight to New York a couple weeks ago, and the 3 seats in front of me, on the window, all of those women were wearing comfort sets. So,
you
um,
should
Yes.
have taken a picture and
shove.
posted it and tagged Comfort in it.
Yeah, because that
Yeah,
was hilarious. I just wanted to, yeah, throw that out there because 'cause they're so comfortable.
they are amazing, amazing sweatshirts. So yeah,
Yeah.
but
Just
on that
beware, the shorts
note,
do not have pockets.
Shorts don't have pockets.
mm,
But
I don't know about the sweatpants. I'm assuming they would, but I assume shorts would. So
yeah,
the
I'm not
sweatpants
sure.
do. They have pockets. Um Well, okay. Well, I wanted to confirm with you guys. So next week, we're going to be exploring that kind of like weird line between nature and nurture and the stories that make us wonder if destiny is really ours to control. That's still what we're working on next week, right?
I believe
Sounds
so.
good to me.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Hmm.
Great. Um, cool. Well, then, um, stay fresh, cheese bags.
Love
Shut
it.
the fuck up. I
I love
can't top
it.
that.
Nope, me either. So bye.
Finn.